Okay, I also want to hit something else that Karine Jean-Pierre said yesterday, because I don't want this to fly under the radar. Lies are being spread at epic rates from this White House. And there was a question. We started yesterday's show talking about the fact that schools being closed was indefensible. And Karine Jean-Pierre tried to say that the reason why schools were closed in America was because Donald Trump wanted them to be closed. Well, I just want to play you this flashback. This was a July of 2020 ad from the Democratic National Committee. Okay, this is a DNC ad that they put out against Trump. Yesterday, Karine Jean-Pierre said Donald Trump is responsible for schools being closed. In July of 2020, the DNC attacked Trump for wanting to open schools back up. Listen to this.
New cases in a single day.
4 million cases.
Desperate to reopen schools because he thinks it will save his re-election.
We have to open the schools.
Critical shortage of PPE.
Threatening their funding.
When they don't open their schools, we're not going to fund them.
Ignoring how the virus spreads. Risking teachers and parents' lives. Going against the advice of experts.
It's had very little impact on young people.
Do you trust him to do what's best for our children? Because this is not a test. Trump is failing.
I aced it. I aced the test.
All right. So now, it's amazing how many times they argue the exact opposite of what they argued before. We never said defund the police. Do you remember when Buck and I played you like 7 minutes of Democrats all saying defund the police? You didn't just say it. You wrote it on the streets while you were rioting. And now they're saying, oh, the reason why all these kids were kept out of school is because Donald Trump shut schools down. They literally were running ads criticizing Trump for trying to open schools back up. I just played you that clip. Everything Trump said, by the way, that they put under ominous tones and tried to make it sound like it was so unacceptable, everything that he said in that ad actually ended up being true. If anything, Trump should have been far more forceful to open up schools than he was, but he was a zealous advocate to get back to normal and open up schools. In July of 2020, Randy Weingarten, the teachers' unions, everybody in the Democrat Party that was trying to hang COVID on Trump, they wanted abnormality. They wanted schools to be closed because they thought it helped them politically. Make no mistake about how duplicitous they are. They are arguing both sides of an issue. Karine Jean-Pierre is not very smart, but she is an unabashed liar. And every single day that she speaks in the White House, more lies come out.
Would you recommend to governors at every state to essentially lock down in order for a period of several weeks?
For the time being, I would, yes.
Going back to school presents the biggest risk for the spread of the coronavirus.
That it went too far, that particularly for kids who couldn't go to school except remotely, that it's forever damaged them.
Well, I don't think it's forever irreparably damaged anyone.
It is ludicrous to think that we would take our children out of these protective bubbles that we've created. You know, we can mitigate learning losses, but the reality is that we cannot mitigate loss of life.
Carla Matz, president of the union, says her educators do not support school reopening during this pandemic.
Very irresponsible.
Should American parents, teachers, school children be confident that come September of this year that they're going back to school?
I hope so.
How did you notice to open and to stay open?
Because that was what the data was telling us. If all you did was listen to Fauci or some of these people on CNN, you would think you could never open. But you actually looked at the data, it was very clear. People needed to work, people needed to have businesses open, and kids needed to be in school. That was very clear, and so we did.
So we are so much better off because we made that decision 2 years ago, and they're now saying, oh, how bad it was. No one could have foreseen, the destructiveness of these lengthy school closures. Yeah, we foresaw it. That's why we didn't do it.
real quick, folks. There'll be an extended version of this over on Rumble because YouTube sucks. But I wanted to apprise everybody of the fact that Story County, Iowa Supervisor Latifah Faisal, Looney Latifah, and a insane person by the name of Chris Schwartz, Blackhawk County, Iowa Supervisor, both went absolutely berserk when Kim Reynolds and the Republican legislature opened up schools and then basically told him after a while, because there was a lot of larger districts in Iowa with lower graduation rates, especially Des Moines. A lot of dysfunctional people down there. Go drive around Des Moines. Tell me how many panhandlers you see per block. A lot of fatherless children, a lot of drug addicts. It's getting out of control. But these larger districts wanted to create more dysfunctional people by having online learning for as long as possible. Who knows how long? If they'd gotten their way, schools have been closed for over a year. In January of 21, they were screeching about it when Kim Reynolds did that. Going crazy in the legislature. They wanted schools closed for over a year so those marginal students can fail, and then they can create more dysfunctional voters. So Blackhawk County, Iowa Supervisor Chris Schwartz and Looney Latifah Faisal, Story County, Iowa Supervisor, both supported keeping schools closed for extended periods of time. Next time they're up for re-election, vote them out. These lockdowns and school closures had devastating effects on young people. Absolutely devastating. Vote them out.